Next, in the biomolecules, the concept of metabolism. So what is metabolism? So in a cell or in a living cell of a plant or animal, some chemicals are present, some thousands of organic compounds are present, and also along with that inorganic substances are also present. So these organic substances are converted from one type of organic substance to the other type, or for example, if you are talking about any organic compound, that organic substance or the organic compound have been formed from other type of organic compound, and this so formed organic substance will not remain as like, it will be further converted into some other type. Likewise, the changes are taking place from one type of organic compound to the other type of organic compound. This type of changes is called as this type of changes from one organic compound to the other organic compound is called as a metabolism, or this will take place in the form of chemical reactions inside a cell. So the chemical reactions leading to the formation of one type of chemical to the other type of chemical, this entire process of the changes is called as a metabolism. The organic compounds which are formed in the process of metabolism, so we call them as metabolites. This is nothing but the product of metabolism or metabolic reactions, and these metabolites are not remain static or constant. They will be changing from one type of metabolite to the other type of metabolite compound. In this process, so we talk about the chemical changes or the metabolism, concept of metabolism. Let's take here, each and every metabolite have turnover. So one of the important significant property exhibited by each and every organic molecule, that is called as a turnover. So here the enzymes, proteins, carbohydrates, not only them, the amino acids, all of them are having their specific amount of turnover. So each and every organic compound have its specific turnover. So based on that one, that shows the significance related to the metabolism, in which the metabolic changes are taking place inside a cytoplasmic content of a cell. So in this process, let's take that chemical changes are taking place, like when from an amino acid, carbon dioxide, if it is removed, it is converted into amino group, and from a nitrogen base, so removal of amino group, and if a disaccharide molecule is undergoing hydrolysis, it forms two monosaccharide molecules. Likewise, the changes are taking place, or the bonds are broken, that is the formation of the breaking of the older bonds and the formation of the new bonds. So all these changes are taking place during the metabolic changes or the metabolic process. So here, if you consider one process of metabolism, it is not like the changes are taking place inside the cell is not an independent changes. So it is an interlinking of the reactions or the metabolic changes will be there, but despite of this interlinking also, there is no such trafficking or there is no such disturbance to one type of metabolic change to the other type of metabolic reaction which is taking place inside the cytoplasm. But here, as like that of the mobile traffic that we can observe in the daily life, so here also in the chemical reactions which are taking place inside a cell, that traffic is present, where one type of chemical compound, for example, from here amino acid, carbon dioxide is released from the amino acid to form an amino group. This carbon dioxide will react with some other compound to produce a new type of compound. For example, consider this carbon dioxide is participating in the photosynthetic process, where it will react with the water molecule to form sugar molecule or the carbohydrate. Likewise, the interlinking is present between one chemical reaction to that of the other chemical reaction, but the chemical reactions sometimes they may be in the linear form, in the form of a ring, or sometimes crisscrossing is also being present. This type of changes are there in the metabolic or metabolism which is taking place inside a cell. So here the concentration of the metabolites is very important, such that the flow and direction is also very much important. Flow and direction of the metabolites. which is significant for maintenance of the metabolism inside a cell. In this process, either, as I said, that the flow either may be in the linear form, the circle, or in the form of crisscross. But despite of all these type of changes, there is no disturbance or there is no such type of unhealthy nature in the metabolic reactions. If unhealthy nature is there, all that entire process of metabolism will be disturbed. So there is no such disturbance, or there is no such disturbance related to the metabolism which is taking place inside the cells. And each and every metabolic reaction is an enzyme catalyzed reactions. Each and every metabolic reaction is an enzyme catalyzed reactions. So here, what are these enzymes? Enzymes are the biocatalysts, which will fasten the chemical reactions inside a cell. So each and every chemical reaction and each and every biochemical change which is taking place inside a cell is catalyzed by a enzyme, and these enzymes are specific. It is not like that one enzyme is present, it is catalyzing many such reactions. It is not so. So depending upon the type of reaction or depending upon the type of substrate on which the enzyme have to act, so that specificity will be there. That's the reason why one enzyme is present means that will act only in that particular type of reaction, or it will participate in such reaction where that specific substrate molecule is taking part in the reactions. So all these steps is a part of the concept of metabolism. In a metabolism, we can say that two types of processes are there. One is called as anabolism or anabolic process, and other is called as catabolism or catabolic process. Let's start with the anabolic process or anabolism. So we call this as a constructive process. So why it is so called as constructive process means, here simpler compounds or simpler substrate molecules are converted into complex compounds. For conversion of simpler compounds into complex compounds, energy is utilized. As the energy is utilized, so we can call endergonic reaction. It is an endergonic reaction. So let's take one example in the plants which is taking place, which is a part of anabolic process, that is photosynthesis. We know that the substrates which are participating in this reaction are carbon dioxide and the water molecules, which are simpler compounds. So these two compounds are combined to form glucose molecule. So in presence of light and chlorophyll molecule. Of course, in the process, water is also being formed along with the release of oxygen. In this process, this is a main product. This is a main end product. So here it is a complex molecule. So the two simpler molecules are taking part to produce a complex molecule. For this process, they need the energy. So in which form they will need the energy means, we know that energy is produced inside the chloroplast in the form of chemical energy form, that is called as adenosine triphosphate. That is during the light reaction. So that is the energy stored in the bonds of the adenosine triphosphate. The particularly high energy bonds are present between the last phosphate and the adenosine diphosphate molecule, which will yield approximately of 7.6 kilocalories of energy. So likewise, many ATPs are utilized for the conversion of carbohydrates from the glucose molecule, from the carbon dioxide and water molecule. So this is one of the best example for anabolic process or the constructive process where the energy is utilized. Next one is catabolic process or catabolism. So this is considered as a destructive process. So why it is called as destructive process means here whatever the complex compound is present, this complex compound is converted into simpler compounds, or we can say that the complex compound will break down to produce a simpler compound. Here in this process, whatever the energy which is present in the bonds of the complex molecule, that will be, when that bond is broken, that energy present in the bonds will be released outside. So that here the energy present in the bonds of complex molecule or complex compound is released due to breaking of the bond. So that energy is released, so we call it as a exergonic reaction. Here the best example in the animals is the carbohydrates which are present here in the muscle cells, they are converted into lactic acid, a simpler molecule. In the same way in the plants and in some other bacteria where the respiratory substrate like carbohydrates will be broken down to release carbon dioxide and water molecule. Whatever the energy which is present in the bonds of the complex molecule will be released. So here the carbohydrate is converted into lactic acid in the muscles, or otherwise in the plants the carbohydrate is converted into carbon dioxide and water molecule. That is a complex compound to the simpler molecule. So here as energy is released, we call it as an exergonic reaction. And each and every reaction in the anabolic or the catabolic process are catalyzed by enzymes. So we call them as a catalyzed reactions or biocatalyzed reactions, we call them as. Such type of changes are taking place in the metabolism of the plants and also in the animals.